let's get to the poll. So the poll we had was, what is the most important use case? And we've talked about a whole bunch of use cases. As you can see, I voted, and most people voted for development wanting to have the roadmap to make architecture and technology decisions, followed by the customers and finance. For me, and maybe part of this is having worked with some big companies as a consultant, they're trying to make decisions on what do we build into a platform versus what do I have my product teams build, and having that roadmap to rationalize common features and stuff is key. That's where I put it. Greg, as somebody who's our representative of the development background, did you vote on this one?
Yes, I did. I did the development one. I'm in the same as you. So, you know, and I put it from the point of view of looking internally, because you know, why are we trying to do something? What are we trying to accomplish? Development teams want to know that so they can actually have, you know, partner with them to have those conversations, to put their plans in place, those dependency plans in place. You know, yeah, it is very valuable to others, but from a development point of view, they have to marshal people. The people don't come, you know, out of thin blue sky. So that, you know, you need to be able to say, what are we doing? And from all of this is like, okay, wait a minute, we have this in the roadmap. You want to change something in the roadmap. Wait a minute, you know, I only have one database guy. He's already working on something. How are we going to do this? You know,
part of it is that budget allocation, resource allocation. Who do we have who can do it? Right. Part of it is we don't need 3 different authentication systems.
Right.
If we know we've got 5 different products who need it, why don't we build it once? Part of it,
the simplicity that all product managers are always trying to get to.
Yeah. And then the one, you know, the thing that first stuck out to me when I was thinking about it was, like, if the tech lead or the architect doesn't see where we see this thing going, if they develop with blinders on, they may build code that's not extensible to where we need it to go in a year or 2.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of where my head was when I voted this way. Jason, which way did you go?
I wish I could have said something else to be argumentative, but I also kind of come from a development background and working closely as a product owner. And so I also picked the development wanting to have the roadmap to make architectural technology decisions. So even though I said that, you know, roadmaps a lot of times are a sales issue, the most important use for them is for our development communities for exactly the reasons that you guys mentioned. And also, again, never to forget about the why, because development can also be your sounding board, and they're also in tune with the product, how it behaves, how users are possibly using it through any kind of analytics, and they can also help advise on validating that roadmap with you. But they definitely want vision, because they also want to be passionate about delivering great products. And if they know why these things are happening, why you want to go to where you want to go, they can help get you there if they have visibility into that. So
the great part about just to add in, the great part about the why is that you're actually empowering them to come up with other ideas.
Precisely.
And they want to do that. And, you know, having like, here's where we're going, guys, but this is why we're doing this one thing. And it's very possible that, you know, you're doing something that is short term against the long term, and you're saying why we're doing this. And then they say, okay, well, we understand why we're kind of deviating off the path. We got it. And then to your point, Grant, is that they understand this is a deviation off the path a bit. We know why we're doing this. So now we're going to build it such that it doesn't paint us in a corner.
Yeah.
In the longer term.
Yeah, that's sort of where my head was, plus the roll up, working with 2 big companies that were aggregating. They had platform groups, digital platform groups that were aggregating requirements across 2 divisions and probably 10 product families to find out what are the common threads. I mean, and talk about a laborious process to try to start understanding how they bring together and that type of stuff. You know, see, Jason, I thought you might have been the customers wanting to know the vision of the product just from your answer to the open-ended question.
Yeah, the way you question the polls and the way you question the open, you know, question at the beginning of the week, they're just different enough for me to always change my answer.
That must mean I'm a really good question asker.
Oh yeah, totally, you are, absolutely.
The reality is it's a Sunday at like 7 p.m. and I'm like, oh shit, we got to get the Steve, what about this? And Greg, I thought if you didn't vote development, you would have been the finance one, because, you know, there was a couple months ago, you were talking about the importance of finance and the budgeting and the visibility they need to have. So it could have been there.
The downside of the finance one with the roadmap is that they're going to hold you to it.
Yeah.
So that it's like, you know, okay, I need the roadmap for the year, and so that we can budget against all those things, and then we're going to hold you to it.
But to me, I think it has to be. I think it has to be the opposite. I'm going to, you know, as I was taught at GE and other places, if I'm committing to a number, I'm committing to a number. If something doesn't work, I have to be able to change and pull different levers to get there, because my commitment is the number. So finance, I'm committing to you 35 million at a operating margin of 5 or whatever it may be. If something falls off, I need to pull my other levers. So I can't have my roadmap can't be the commitment, because I'm going to change. I may have to change it. I will, based on what I think is going to happen, I'll give you a financial commitment. It's sort of how I've done.
Yeah, it's a crystal ball type of thing that I need to be able to modify going on. And if I'm going to need to change budgets or things like that, then we're, you know, I have to have those mechanisms in place to be able to explain those, you know, have those conversations.
The only thing I can guarantee you is I'm not going to hit that number exactly on the head. Right. The final one, the other, was from Aaron Stewart, and he said executive and senior leadership alignment, sort of back, Greg, to the answer you put in place.